Every year around this time, near the end of the calendar year when round two deadlines are approaching, I get this question about how to get better at getting hard questions right quite frequently. So at this point, a lot of people have studied enough that they're not really missing easy and medium questions very often, but they're really struggling with the hard stuff. This might be verbal or quant. And part of the reason these hard questions are hard is because of the way they're worded. And sometimes they're just very, very long. And it's difficult to pay attention for a very long reading comp, or it's difficult to break down a very long word problem in the quant section. I've got some super simple advice here that should make a really big difference if you practice this technique. What you want to get good at is breaking long sentences into smaller chunks. It's a comically simple approach, but it works wonders. What you want to do is take some practice questions from the official guide. Let's say we're in the math section. You want to find some of these longer word problems that are similar to what you're seeing on practice tests. And you want to practice just translating one small piece of each long sentence at a time. Now, a lot of people feel the pressure to translate a whole equation, or they need to read the problem and then just magically be able to come up with two or three equations all at once that then they solve to get the question right. And that's awesome if you can do that. It's just not always practical and not always realistic. So if you're finding yourself struggling and you're rereading things, what you want to do is make the task smaller and look at a part of a sentence. For example, it might say something like a fruit stand is selling apples for $5 a piece and oranges for $7 a piece. So I might be able to put 5A, where A represents the number of apples bought, is the total cost of all apples, and 7 times O would be O, the number of oranges, and then 7 times O, the total cost of all the oranges. And then I just repeat that process, breaking each long sentence into smaller pieces until I have all the small pieces out on my scratch pad in front of me, and then I can start putting them together into longer, more robust equations and start the solving process. So all you want to do when things get stressful and sentences get long, and this is true in reading comp and critical reasoning as well, is start breaking things into smaller chunks, making a quick note of what that chunk represents, and then put the chunks back together once you have chunked all the long sentences. If you've tried that and you're still struggling with your comprehension on hard questions, reach out to us anytime and we'll be happy to help.